first door.
Hello YouTube, how we doing today? Nice and sunny out here, but it's happened. We've had natural disaster, tsunami, earthquake, nuclear reactor leak, anything like that. That's all it's going to take. It's time to get home, use that get home bag, and get home, go get out of the area. It can be a bug out too in this case. But it is things. It's happened. It's time to go. Got my gear loaded up in the car, and I'm going my route back home. If anybody's familiar with Southern California, it's not going to be the easiest place to get out of. It's got very limited arteries out of the area, with only a certain few freeways, with a great number of people that would want to get out on that. And the traffic, this is like any other Friday right now. If you can imagine, I mean, it's not hard to imagine what it would look like if everybody was trying to get out of the area, away from the impact area of whether it was a natural disaster or some type of like an LA riot situation or something like that. But I'm coming out of San Diego County. I'm coming north on the 5 right now. I'm going to get over onto the 15. That's going to be the best way for me as part of my get home route that I could go. Yeah, it's a real narrow window if you're coming out of San Diego County in particular. There's a book out there called by a guy named Joel Skousen, who wrote got a lot of interesting stuff in it. It talks about strategic relocation, and it talks more about relocating yourself before a big event happens and where you want to live. But you can also use it to formulate a bug out plan or a get home plan from an area, or even staying where you're at, how safe you are where you're at, and what you need to plan for. If you don't already know, if you haven't already gotten through he goes into a lot of details, through all the natural resources that you have available, population centers, threats of natural disasters, and all those things. And he goes into the weeds on a lot of that stuff and rates all the areas by that. And Southern California down here in San Diego County in particular is one of the worst in his rating system for trying to, one, get out of it, for one, being exposed to a lot of different threats. And because of the different cities, military bases, and there's a limited number of freeways to get out. So it would be a very, a nightmare situation. And I know there's a lot of people here on YouTube that are located in Southern Cal, and I know a couple of them stated that their plan is to bug in if possible, ride it out, whatever it might be, and that may or may not be possible. If it's a large enough natural disaster of a tsunami type or something, maybe not. Earthquake, you got your preparations in order, I think you probably could ride it out. But for me, that option I would be trying to get from work to home, more than likely, as a lot of other people would. I've talked about long distance commuting and being a long way from home in some other videos. But now I've talked about it, and we're going to go out here, we're going to do it. The plan is to get out here, we get up into the desert, and at a minimum, I would want to be able to get what I would consider a half a tank of gas away from here in Southern California, which puts me up right up in the high desert. We'll be up here. I'll show you the area when we get there. We'll talk about it a little bit. But coming out of San Diego County, you don't want to go north into Orange County or LA. That's a huge population center there. It's not any better. And then shooting up to 15 straight out of San Diego County, you run into Riverside and San Bernardino, which is a pretty populated valley area, and you're really channelized by natural obstacles with the mountains. So if you had an off-road vehicle, you wouldn't be able to do very well and getting out of some of those areas. And then you got 8 going due east out of the county as well, which takes you into Arizona, which is a viable option as long as you got enough fuel. and depending on the situation, whether or not that fuel would be enough to get you where you need to go. But that's kind of the options. That's pretty much the limits on it. And the bad thing about being on the 82 is you're close to the border. Depending on the situation, that might not be a safe place. It might be very crowded as well. The border crossing, I'm sure, would be shut down one way or the other in any one of those scenarios. And that would cause its own problems as far as traffic goes, and people trying to get back and forth across. Because daily, that place is backed up on a daily basis with people coming in and out of commerce and everything else. So for me, if we're getting back into Nevada, the 15 and going up north is the way I got to go. And I'm not going all the way to Vegas. I'm going up northern Nevada. So I shift here to the 15 and over 395 north. So if you're looking on a map, something to look at. If you're planning a bug out plan or any type of get home plan, obviously a map's going to be a huge thing to look at. Google Earth is a great tool. It shows you all the terrain. You can get all the different micro features that can assist you, especially if you're walking. Put together a hiking plan. Your traditional topographic map is going to be useful, but Google Earth for most people, especially in the technological age, you can pull up a lot more details and stuff like that. And learning how to read a map, takes a little bit of time. Learning how to read a topographical map. So it takes time to learn that. That's good, and learn how to use your map. But you're probably not going to have the time to do that, or especially initially, just trying to get a feel for all your terrain around you using Google Earth. There's tons of great information there that you can pull up in a matter of seconds. What would take you, hours to figure out with a topographical map, especially if it's a 1 in 50 or 1 in 25,000 relief. You need closer to 1 in 12 to get the kind of detail that you can in Google Earth. But yeah, so getting out of Southern California, probably one of the hardest areas to get out of. Plan for a half tank of gas. I think that would get me well beyond up into the high desert up there. But if I had a full tank, so idle times, and which you expect with heavy traffic and stuff like that, better to be on the safe side. And I kind of tailored my bug out bags and what I put in them as far as number of meals and everything to what I think I would need to get from that area in the high desert to my next point, which is what I'm going to be going up through this weekend. I'm looking to move from a position up there right off the 15 on 395 and move up north into Ridgecrest, which is kind of where I've got a place where I can get food and water, and I've got friends and stuff like that, which is who's helping me out this week as far as giving me a ride back once I get up there. Or depending on how far I get, maybe not all the way to there, but however far we get. And so I know I've got assistance in that area. So that's kind of how I tailored my bag. But those kind of balance, 2 or 3 day bound, resupply, get some more assets, more supplies hopefully, and then go again. I think it'd be about a 2-week trip overall if I was to have to hike all the way. That's kind of how I planned out my trip. And this section we're going to be doing this weekend is really the most difficult and remote strip, at least in the summer. In the winter, there's a whole other challenge once you get up on the eastern side of the Sierra and in the wintertime. And they have to deal with the cold and more than likely some snow and stuff like that. And then my route can vary too when I get up that far. Here in this area down here, it's really so narrow and confined. There's only a couple of ways that I can get over to a route that can take me up north. That primary being the one we're going to take is really the only one. The only other one that takes over would be you'd have to go through LA and over to get remotely close to a similar route, or to go all the way east into Vegas, which would be way out of the way, and you're incurring the hazards of another populated center. And really, when you look at it, in a lot of these scenarios of bug out, bug in, or I mean bug out, get home, your biggest danger is other people. And maybe natural hazards if it's a flood or something, but other people are going to be what you're most concerned about, how desperate they are, gangs, what people would be doing. Just here on a day-to-day basis, getting through traffic is hazardous. You can imagine what it'd be like if you got 20 million people trying to get out. So just the hazards of vehicles, traffic, just people in a high-stress environment that aren't ready to deal with it, and having to deal with them would be its own hazard all into its own. So some things to consider and think about. It gets pretty deep as you move into thinking about what you would be doing, and definitely wouldn't be fun. But so we're moving up. I'll get back on here when we get further up the road and talk about some more considerations. But that's kind of the thought process of my plan to get home. If I could not cover this distance I'm going to cover today in the car, if there was a guaranteed, like one of the interstates is shut down, or all the interstates are shut down, I would have to go a different plan. I don't think I wouldn't be able to get home in this scenario, whatever it was. I would have to change completely and have to reevaluate. And become a bug-in situation until further information and situation develops. So that would be a really difficult situation there. But as long as the interstates and roads are open, this would be my plan to get at least that half a tank of gas away and go from there as far as hiking the rest of the way. So we'll be back here later. We'll show you the rest of our route, and hope this is a learning experience for everybody. Bye.